Hello everyone and welcome back to This Is Real Life. I'm your host Sheri, and on today's Real Life Friday video, we're going to do a little something new. Now, I've been telling you guys that Editor John and I have been putting a lot of time and thought into the channel. And one of our ideas that we really like and we hope you like too is doing a series on movies I grew up with. So this is the first one, episode 1 of this series. Hopefully you guys like it because I'm really excited about it. So what I want you to do is get on your sweats, get real comfy, because I am going to tell you why Girls Just Want to Have Fun is the second greatest movie of all time.
I don't know where to begin.
Now, this is not going to be like every other movie review sort of video that you may have watched. I'd like to think that I am the greatest storyteller of all time. I know this movie like the back of my hand because, as I mentioned, it is the second greatest movie of all time, and I am just going to tell you why that is. We're gonna go through this movie from start to finish, just in case you haven't seen it before. There are spoilers. The whole thing's gonna be spoiled for you, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't go back and watch it. Now, is Girls Just Want to Have Fun like some Academy Award winning movie? No. Is the plot really just the age-old story of preppy schoolgirl meets rebel schoolboy and they fall magically in love after sharing a common interest that neither one of them knew they had? Yes, it is exactly that. But does it also have dance in it? Why, yes it does. A whole dance competition. It's a pretty great movie. So open your minds because we're getting started. I'm gonna tell you all about it. I just went on to the Googles really quickly so that we can get a little bit of back detail on the actual movie, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, which interestingly enough, the Cyndi Lauper song, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, is nowhere to be found in the movie. The song Girls Just Want to Have Fun is in fact in the movie, but not the Cyndi Lauper version, some weird knockoff version. Number 2, Girls Just Want to Have Fun came out in 1985. It stars a very, very young Sarah Jessica Parker, a very young Helen Hunt, and an even younger Shannon Doherty. And then there's some other people in it too. Though she's a talented gymnast, Janie, played by Sarah Jessica Parker, has also followed the orders of her strict Army Colonel father, who is very, very strict indeed. We'll get into that. However, when she moves to a new town and meets a carefree Lynn, played by Helen Hunt, she disobeys her father for the first time in her life. But it's for good reason. She wants to be on DTV.
Hi, I'm Gary Woods and welcome to Dance TV.
We'll get into that too. With Lynn's encouragement, Janie enters the TV dance competition and soon finds herself with both a cute dance partner and an arch rival who is dead set in getting Janie eliminated from the contest. I mean, I could stop right there. That description's already amazing. I know you guys already want to watch it, but I'm going to go into more detail and tell you all about the movie anyways. Buckle up, because here we go. Okay, so picture it. The movie opens with Janie up front in a classroom, which appears to be like a private girls' school run by nuns. She's in her school uniform. The teacher has asked her to tell the class a little bit about herself. She's standing up there and she just doesn't know what to say and pans down to her shoes and she slips off her like penny loafer and starts like pointing and flexing her toe on the ground. Tell us where you're from. And she's from all over because her army dad, who is now retired, moved them all over.
11 different schools, but the uniform's always the same.
So then the teacher asks her what her hobbies are. Well, I like music and, yada, yada, yada. And then she says, I love to dance. And that one day she knew that she would make it to Chicago because that's where they make dance TV.
Because that's where they make dance TV.
And she wants to be on dance TV. I know. I know. In the classroom happens to be Lynn, who is played by Helen Hunt. Lynn looks up and basically sees her like kindred spirit. Now, Lynn is kind of a crazy, wackadoo, wild teen and super fun. After school, Lynn actually asks Janie to sit next to her in the bus so that she can change.
Would you cover for me?
So Janie covers her up with her jacket and Lynn takes off her schoolgirl skirt. It's with Velcro because Velcro.
Next to the Walkman and Tab, it is the coolest invention in the 20th century.
She takes her skirt off, she flips it around, and it's leather. Rips off the sleeves, because they're Velcroed on, turns her jacket around inside out, and on the inside it's like blue and black plaid. Janie's looking at her and she's like, do you have a date? She's like, no, I'm just going babysitting, and then you should see me when I go out. Janie's looking at Lynn and is like, why are you like freaking out? And she's like, oh my God, I know you're gonna miss the beginning of DTV. She's like, don't you worry.
I'm not gonna let you miss anything.
So they both get off the bus and they run to Lynn's babysitting job. They turn on Dance TV, they're eating ice cream, ordering pizza, all this fun stuff. They're watching DTV, which is very similar to, if you're familiar with Solid Gold. Very similar indeed, except way more fun and cool. So they're watching it, and lo and behold, the host of DTV makes an announcement saying that they are in search of a new couple to dance on DTV.
You want to join us? Well, you can. All you have to do is come on out and audition this Friday.
So Janie is sitting there mesmerized. She can't even put the spoonful of ice cream in her mouth all the way because she's just staring at that TV. So Lynn comes up with this great idea and she's like, we're both gonna audition. She's like, I am an okay dancer, but what I lack in skill, I make up for in personality. And you, Janie, I mean, your face today in class.
This was you today. I love to dance.
You were born to be on the show. Janie says, do I need to remind you that my father's super strict? He's never gonna let me do it. And she's like, well, just ask him. It doesn't hurt. We can go audition, yada, yada, yada. Janie goes home. Her dad is painting mini army figurines. And she says, can I talk to you about something? He's like, yes. And she's like, there's this competition. And he says, great.
A little healthy competition. It's good for the soul.
And she's like, perfect, because there's this dance show.
What I do is I go downtown on Friday and I get to dance. And then if they like me, then I rehearse every night. And then if I win, I'm gonna be on TV, all right?
Negative.
He's like, hold up. I haven't even done reconnaissance on this town. There's no way you're going downtown alone. Sorry about it. It's not happening. You're not doing it. She's like, I never get to, oh, I know, it's funny, is he's like, we had a deal, no nightlife until you're 18. And she says, we made a deal when I was 7 years old.
Nightlife was the Muppet Show.
When she says that, I'm like, well, he's not wrong, because I've made many a deal with Davis when he was younger, one of which was that his very first tattoo had to be a heart with mom in it. And lo and behold, when he wanted to get a tattoo, I told him, don't you forget, we have a deal. And he was like, well, I don't remember making that deal. And I was like, oh, you made the deal. I even have a piece of paper that you signed when you were like 7 years old. And that's the deal. If you want to get a tattoo, it's got to be a heart with mom in it. So we went to the tattoo parlor together and he got a heart with mom in it. So anyways, I see the dad's point of view. Janie made a deal with him when she was 7 about nightlife and not happening until she was 18. She's got to hold up her end of the bargain. So she's pissed. Next day at school comes. Janie and Lynn are walking to the bus. And Lynn says, you know you can't wear that to the audition, speaking about her schoolgirl uniform. She looks at her, she just makes a look, and she's like, oh my God, you're not going. And she's like,
Lynn, I can't. They won't let me go.
my dad won't let me go. And Lynn's like, do you do everything you're told? And then he looks at her and says,
Oh, God, you do.
she's like, you just go. You're going to miss your bus. Call me. Tell me all about it. Yada, yada, yada. So Lynn goes to get on the bus. Janie's looking at the bus. It's starting to drive away. And then she's like, pocket. So she runs, which I don't believe she could make this bus because literally she stood there contemplating it for like 7 minutes as the bus was driving away. But anyways, Lynn pries open the bus doors and she's like, come on. Grabs her. They get on the bus. They go to the DTV auditions, which is this big, ginormous outdoor event. There are tons and tons and tons of people. And this is where we meet the boy dancer. Oh, and not only do we meet the boy dancer, but we meet the arch nemesis. Now, the arch nemesis is this really, really, really rich girl. Her dad is like some factory mogul, like basically owns all the factories in Chicago. She's literally, and Clueless, I had no idea, but Clueless stole this from Girls Just Want to Have Fun, just to prove like the rich part of her. And it's the same like revolving closet that Cher has in Clueless. I'm just saying. Clueless, did you give credit to Girls Just Want to Have Fun? So this rich girl, she's one of those like, Daddy.
I'm going to be on that show, Daddy, and I don't want to hear another word about it.
And he's like, but wait, I thought we were working on this Vogue cover shoot for you. And she's like, you just don't understand me. She gets to the audition and she pulls in her Mercedes and screeches into this parking spot and actually almost hits Janie and Lynn. So Lynn gets up, there's a crowd forming and they're like, ooh, cat fight. Lynn's walking over to her while she's still sitting in her convertible Mercedes and then does one of these and like fixes her hair in the side mirror. Instantly, they have made an enemy of the rich girl. Oh, whose name is Natalie, by the way. Audition's going, and they're standing in line to get their numbers for the audition, and this guy standing behind Janie and Lynn in line starts talking. He's like, wait, don't I know you? And Janie, Sarah Jessica Parker, looks and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm really bad with faces, but yeah, you kind of look familiar. He's talking to the hot girl that is standing on the other side of Janie. And that bad boy happens to be Jeff Malene. We'll get to him soon. Anyways, Janie is super embarrassed. Lynn is laughing. They get their numbers. They go. And the big thing about this audition is they make this announcement that says,
If you don't have a partner, don't worry about it. We'll pair you up. We just want to see you dance.
because don't forget, DTV wants a couple. And this movie has like the greatest songs that you will never hear ever again. You've never heard before. You'll never hear after. Like when Janie and Lynn go to watch DTV at Lynn's babysitting job, the opening song where you get to see like all the dancers dancing around is this song called Shout, Break Out, Da-na-na-na. Great song. Never heard it again. It's only on Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Now they're on this stage and they're all auditioning and you see like different couples. It's like a dance competition montage. And I can't remember the song that's playing. I can see all the dance moves. I can see it all. Janie and Lynn are on stage and they end up pairing Janie with this one guy and they pair Lynn with this other guy. They make an announcement like, come on, we need to speed this up. So Lynn grabs her dance partner. They go to the center of the stage. They're dancing, whatnot. Lynn's like spinning her hair a million times. Well, then her dance partner like grabs her to do like a little two-step situation. And then he basically like steps on her toes, like knees her in the shin. It's a disaster area. And then it goes over to the judges and they're like, yeah.
Cut them.
So Janie's like, oh my God, Lynn, I'm so sorry. She's like, don't worry about it, whatever. She goes, like, runs for her dance partner, is like fighting him, like, you know, pushing him, like, what the fuck? So anyways, Janie grabs her dance partner and they're dancing. Mind you, she stole the show. Her dance partner didn't even get to really dance at all because she brings out her gymnastics prowess and does like round off back, handspring back, tuck, round off back, handspring back, tuck, like all over the place. Everybody's loving it. The crowd's going wild. Then we see Jeff Malene. He starts dancing. And I use the term dancing very loosely because really all he does is run around the stage and like break through some like paper and everybody like thinks it's amazing. So we've seen the auditions, they're happening, they're announcing who's made it to the finals. As you can assume, Janie made it to the finals, Jeff Malene made it to the finals, our favorite Natalie made it to the finals. They have all of these couples standing on stage and they're like, we need to do a little rearranging. And by rearranging, they really don't do anything except for put Janie with Jeff Malene. So now they are partners. Mind you, she did this whole audition in her schoolgirl uniform, so everybody's making fun of her for that. And now they're making fun of Jeff Malene because his dance partner is like, I don't know why they're teasing him about it, but she's a schoolgirl. So That all happened. But keep in mind, Janie wasn't even supposed to go to this audition. Total secret from her parents. She said she had like after school something or other, whatever. Janie has a little brother, and her little brother tells her she has a phone call and it's a boy. So she goes and it's Jeff Moline. And he's like, hey, meet me at the dance studio at 9 o'clock so we can start rehearsing. As he's telling her this, her dad's like, hey, who are you on the phone with? And she covers up the wrong part of the phone. And she's like, oh, it's Lynn from school. And then you see Jeff Moline being like, oh, great, Lynn from school.
Great.
He's telling her to be at the dance studio at 9 o'clock. And as she's saying, I don't know if I can make it, the phone is getting like pulled from him. And it happens to be his younger sister, Shannon Doherty.
Sorry, needed the phone.
What for? The Cabbage Patch Mother's having a PTA meeting?
Janie never got to tell Jeff Moline that she wasn't going to be able to go because there's no way she could leave her house at 9 o'clock at night. So he is standing in front of the dance studio. It's dark out. He's been standing there forever. He tells her an hour and a half. And I'm just saying right now, if I asked someone to meet me somewhere and they were 15 minutes late, I would just leave. Now remember, this is back in 1985. There weren't any cell phones. So it's not like he could text her and say, hey, where the hell are you? He's watching like all of these dancers leave the dance studio, and one of which is Natalie. So Natalie, in her like really kind of hot looking dance outfit, white leotard. She's got on white boots and a white leather jacket. She's like, oh.
All alone?
Let me know if you want to practice your moves. Totally hitting on him. And he's like, okay, whatever. Next day, I guess Janie and Jeff Moline must have made arrangements and they're at the dance studio. And this is when they discover they really are butting heads. So she's like warming up. She's like, do you want to warm up? And he's like, I don't really need to warm up. And she's like, well, are you sure you can keep up? And he's like,
I can do any step you can do.
She's like, I've been practicing dance and gymnastics for like 10 years. I was thinking we start with something like this. And she does this little like, 8 count. And he's like, I mean, it wasn't super difficult, but probably more difficult than what he's used to. So he's like, I don't know. I was thinking of something like this. And he does like a turn and I don't know what he does. Not very difficult. And she goes, yeah, I saw that in 3 music videos and a Levi commercial. They're butting heads. The whole time it's like, who's taking the lead, all that sort of stuff. At the end of the practice, because they've been arguing, she's like, you know what? I had to skip choir practice to get here. It wasn't easy and it wasn't fun. Well, when she's saying all of this, Natalie is listening. Lynn comes to get Janie from the practice. Janie is like, he's the worst. I can't stand him. And then Lynn's like, yeah, but is he gonna call you later? And then Janie's like, yeah, I think so. So you can tell she kind of likes him even though he's annoying. Lynn and Janie are walking back to Janie's house and her little brother has put a walkie-talkie in the bushes.
That's Janie.
Sister Natalie called, you're in big trouble. So they're both like, Sister Natalie. And then Lynn's like, Natalie. So they know Natalie called her parents and said,
If she can't make it regularly to choir, I'm gonna have to replace her.
So this next part's like probably one of my favorite parts in the whole movie. Janie's like, Lynn, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna be in so much trouble. And then Lynn's like, leave it to me. She bangs on the front door and the parents open the front door and she's dragging Janie in. And she's like, don't worry, you're home, you're safe, you're alive. And the parents were like, what happened? She hyperventilated on the uneven parallel bars. She practically spun herself to death.
I had to rip her fingers off.
It's pretty funny. It's a pretty funny part. So while all this is going on, Natalie goes up to Jeff Moline saying that she is having like a debutante ball or something. I forget what it's called. She's having this big shindig for herself, like a birthday. So she hands him an invitation. Cut to, everybody's at the mall. Shannon Doherty, Jeff Moline's sister, sees them. And she happens to be with Jeff Moline's best friend getting fitted for a tux. And they're like, where are you going? And he's like, well, I got invited to go to Natalie's like debutante ball. And then Shannon Doherty is like,
You wish. She didn't invite him.
she invited Jeff. He's just tagging along. So they grab the invitation from the friend and they're like, They go to like the Kinkos, and they're like, we need 50 of these photocopied right now. Janie's like, Lynn? And she's like, what? It's just a few people Natalie forgot to invite. And then Janie tells the guy, make it 150. So then we go into the best part of the movie ever, and it's the girls just want to have fun montage. The three girls have these invitations and they're running all around town and they're handing these invitations out to everybody they see. And the song is doing like G-I-R-L-S, passing the invitations down the table. It's a great, great part. So they have handed out all of these invitations. So it's the night of the debutante ball. It is at a country club, and the dad is telling the security,
nobody gets in without one of these, understand?
it's a grand event. There's all these uppity rich people there. It looks amazing. The doors opened. The band starts playing this like dun 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 dun, which to me sounded like the president, like the song that they play when we get a new president. But anyways, it's for Natalie and her dad to walk into the event. Everybody's oohing and ahhing, and she turns to her dad and she's like,
I love it.
it's beautiful. And then crash! People are jumping and breaking through windows, which I don't understand why they had to do that because they all had invitations. They could just walk through the front door. Everybody's like, screaming, whatever. They kick the little band off the stage, and then like a punk rock band gets on the stage and they start playing this really loud rock music. Some people are dancing and having fun. Other people are like, Things are going wild. Shit is going down. There's a guy playing a guitar and he's walking on the buffet table, quite frankly, just ruining all the good food. And there's this one moment in the song where it says like, wait, and it shows the guitar player who's walking on the buffet table kick his foot into a full-on uncarved turkey carcass on wait, like the camera does it 3 times. And then the turkey carcass is on his foot and he's like dancing with the turkey carcass. It's great. Just trust me. It's great. Party's going awry. Everything is out of hand. The dad is like, where's security? Give me this. Give me that. And then someone drives in on a golf cart and they actually run into Jeff Moline. He's on the front of the golf cart. The golf cart's out of control because, mind you, it's inside of the country club. It crashes. Jeff Moline goes flying into Natalie's dad. Crashes into a table. Jeff Moline's on top of him. Food's all over him. It's like blueberry pudding or something. Wipes his face off and the dad is pissed. Jeff Moline gets up, runs out. Well, Natalie is super fly pissed.
This means war.
And the next day, she tells her dad, what do you mean? You can't fix the competition or you won't? She talks the dad into pulling strings, talking to people he knows, whatever, doing whatever it is he does to make sure that she wins the DTV dance competition. She does so by saying Jeff Moline and his dance partner, Janie, are the ones that ruined his party and also ruined his beautiful silver hair because the blueberries have turned it a nice shade of blue. So then we see this limo pull up and Jeff Moline is on his motorcycle and the limo blocks Jeff Moline's motorcycle. The door opens and then in the weirdest reverse like elevator move, the dad pops up out of the car and he tells Jeff Moline, you know, I own a lot of factories in this town. I actually own the factory that your dad works for. So basically, I'm telling you, don't do this competition.
I'll bet you don't want your father to lose his job any more than I want my daughter to lose that dance contest.
So now Jeff Moline is worried he doesn't want his dad to lose his job. So cut to, he goes to meet Janie for their last practice before the big live audition on DTV. She's super excited. She's like, you're late. You know, why were you late? And he's like, I didn't know we were punching a clock. And she's like, well, of course we are. It's our last practice. Well, then they get into this big fight because she says, do you want to warm up? And he's like, look, not everybody needs to warm up. And then she goes,
Yes, they do.
yes, they do, which is another one of my favorite lines. So they get in this big fight, and he basically tells her they're not gonna win. What are they doing? It's all rigged. It's pointless.
We're only gonna be in this stupid contest to make it look fair.
She's like, so what? You're just gonna quit?
I mean, just like that?
And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna quit. And he leaves. Well, as Janie is sneaking back into her house, little does she know, her dad has the alarm system now. So when she goes to open her bedroom window, the alarm goes off. Her parents come in, they're like, what the shit, man? She gets grounded. She says, fine, it's not like I have anywhere to be anyways, because according to Jeff Moline, they're no longer gonna do the DTV dance competition. So it's the next day. Janie's super bummed out. She's laying in her bed, and her brother comes in. And she's like, get out. Oh, his name is Zach. She's like, Zach, get out. And he's like, okay. I mean, if you don't want to ask me about Shannon Doherty calling and saying that Jeff's gonna dance. And she's like, what? He's gonna dance? And he's like, yeah. She's like, I don't know. I'm grounded. What am I gonna do? And little brother Zach says, well, like dad always says, call for reinforcements. And the reason Jeff changed his mind is because when he was sitting at the breakfast table with his dad, the dad was like, oh, the dance competition is tonight. And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. And the dad's like, why? And then he explains what happened. And the dad says, tell me something, Jeff. Can you win? And Jeff looks at his dad and he's like, yeah, I can win. So he's like, then do it. And then that's why he changed his mind, and now they're doing the dance competition. So let me give you a little backstory on DTV. It's super popular. I said it was like, you know, the solid gold of our day. I feel like TRL on MTV kind of used it also as like a stepping stone because it talks about the hits, like the hit songs that are out. And where TRL didn't have like dancers, it did have like news and reports and interviews and whatnot. Well, DTV kind of has that too. And their like music news person is this girl called Ricky, and she's really cool. And Lynn loves her.
Oh, God, her job is the coolest.
Her like closing line is, just remember, no matter how hard you try, you'll never be as good as me. That's Ricky's vibe to a T.
Let's all hear it for steroids.
We all know Janie and Jeff are part of this competition. Natalie and her dance partner are part of the competition, but Lynn is not. So now it's the evening of the big live, mind you, live competition on DTV. Jeff Moline, his best friend, and Shannon Doherty are already at the TV studio. And they're like pacing, like, where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Cut to, we're at Janie's house. She's like sitting by her window, waiting. She's like dressed, hair's ready to go. She's waiting. And then we see Lynn, Helen Hunt, like she ropes down, she's hanging upside down. She's like my hair? I thought you were never gonna get here. Yes, I love your hair. So they shimmy down the rope, they run, they catch the bus. Well, it's trafficking. Janie and Lynn are sitting on the bus, and Janie's like, Lynn, we gotta make it. I can't be late. We gotta make it. And so Lynn's like, okay, don't worry about it. Follow me. They get off the bus and they start walking on all of the cars in the traffic, and then they run and they get to the TV studio just in time. Like the announcer is literally on live TV and he's like, this is the live competition, blah, 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 blah. It's gonna start now. Right as that happens, back at Janie's house, the mom and the dad and the little brother are sitting in the family room, and the dad turns on the TV because he wants to see if MASH reruns are on. Well, when he turns on the TV, it just so happens to be on the exact television station that DTV is airing on. And then they do a pan like this across all of the contestants. And the little brother goes, hey, that's Janie on TV. The mom and the dad look at each other, and the dad's like, did you know anything about this? And the mom's like, no, she was grounded. And the dad's like, I'm going down there. And the mom's like, please don't. But the dad gets up and drives to the TV station. Now we're at DTV and we're watching the competition. And I'm telling you, every couple, all of their little dance routines are amazing. I loved watching every single one. The first couple, great. The second couple, they are two girls actually, and they're twins, and they call themselves Mirror Image, and they start their routine with what looks to be a mirror, but one's on one side and one's on the other, and they're doing like fix this bow tie, and they do this little thing, and then one comes around from the other side, and it's like, oh my God, it wasn't a mirror, it was two people. Another couple that did a really cool routine. They're used to the TV spotlight because they're actually on a dance show in their hometown, I think in Miami, Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
They dance on a local show in Miami, Florida.
And then we get to Natalie and her partner. And Natalie, the host, and Natalie would like us all to know that she is wearing a one-of-a-kind Michelle Louvre original, and it's her beautiful, sparkly sequin leotard. Her and her partner do a really great job. Well, then it's time for Janie and Jeff. They're the last ones. And they get the best part of the music. They're up on like this platform. They're shadowed by like the lights, and there's like smoke, and the music cuts to this really cool part where it's like, hey, here I am. Janie's on her knees and he's standing behind, and they do like these arm things, and then he picks her up and flips her over and spins her around, and then they flip off of this platform that's like super high. They do a front flip off. It is amazing. Don't forget, this whole time, this competition that is live is going on. Janie's dad is trying to drive to the TV station. He's gonna stop whatever's happening. So we get to the part in the dance competition where they're gonna announce the winner, because all the couples have danced now. They're all standing there waiting for the announcement. The host opens the envelope and he's like, this is amazing. The winner is Natalie and her partner. And Natalie starts cheering, and then it cuts to Janie and Jeff, and they're like super bummed. But wait, the announcer says, and Janie and Jeff. And so they're freaking out. It's a tie. So you know what that means. We have to have a dance-off. It's the best dance-off ever. They do the dance-off where it's like literally a dance battle. First is Natalie and her partner, and they dance for like maybe like 2 8 counts. And then comes in Janie and Jeff, and they dance for 2 8 counts. And then back to Natalie and her partner, and they dance. And then Natalie does like a solo. Back to Janie and Jeff, and they dance. And then like Janie does a solo. Well, right as this is starting, Janie's dad storms in to a live TV taping. The PA or somebody's like, hey, you can't go past there, man. And he's like, that girl's my daughter. Standing right next to him is Jeff Mullane's best friend. And he's like, hey, Janie's your daughter? She's awesome. And the dad's like, what? And he's like, yeah.
She's awesome, man. Sir, look at her.
And it just so happens he's watching her like exactly when she's doing her solo. She's amazing. She's doing like pirouettes, turning jetés, all in a circle. It's like amazing. And then Natalie and her partner, and they do like this amazing like lift. He lifts her with one arm, and then she flips down. He spins her around and gets up. And the way she walks off stage with her partner, basically it says it all on her face. We got this shit in the bag. So then Janie turns to Jeff. She's like, let's do this. The music is coming up to like the big finale crescendo, and they do round off back handspring. I think he does a back layout and she does a back tuck. And then they do another run back where it's like round off back handspring, layout twist situation, and they fucking stick it. And they both look at Natalie. You thought you had that in the bag. And then they make the announcement of who is winning. And you'll never guess. It's Janie and Jeff. Now, while the dad is watching all of this, of course, he's like, yeah, my daughter is a pretty good dancer. And all of a sudden, he's not mad at her for like sneaking out, any of that. All is fine. They're cheering, and then the host is like, Janie and Jeff are our new, couple on DTV. And I bet Ricky... Oh, I forgot to tell you. Remember when I told you Janie and Lynn made it to the TV station? Well, while this was happening, Ricky and like the producer were having an argument. She was feeling underappreciated. She said that she brought music news to a whole new level.
And you are treating me like cattle.
And he's like,
Moo! Okay? Moo!
and she says, I quit. So As Janie and Lynn are running into the TV station, Ricky is storming out. Now, remember, I told you, Lynn is obsessed with Ricky.
Oh, God, her job is the coolest.
So she's like, oh my God, it's Ricky, it's Ricky. Janie's running into the elevator saying, Lynn, hurry, hurry. The elevator doors are shutting. I'll meet you up there. So, dance competition happens. We're back now. And the host says, with all this exciting news, I bet Ricky has something to say about it. Nothing happens. No one's coming. Ricky, no, seriously, where's Ricky? We're on live TV. This isn't cool. And then lo and behold, you hear horses and a chariot. And who is driving the chariot? It's Lynn. She's the new Ricky of DTV. So, Janie, new dance couple on DTV, and Lynn, the new, news girl. I don't know how she got the job in an instant. I don't know what happened, but it was live TV, and they had to have a Ricky, and Ricky stormed out. So I guess Lynn was just standing around and was like, I'll be Ricky. However it happened, Lynn is now the new Ricky, and her best friend Janie is a new dancer on DTV. And everyone lives happily ever after. It is a dance miracle. That is Girls Just Want to Have Fun in a nutshell. And that is why it is the second best movie of all time ever in the universe. And if you haven't watched it, you really need to go watch it because it is great. And once you've seen it, you're going to want to watch it all the time. Girls Just Want to Have Fun is a movie that I put on when I'm cleaning, when I'm doing something else, when I just want to sit down and watch TV. I have watched Girls Just Want to Have Fun a million times. It is a happy, feel-good, no-nonsense movie that is exactly what it claims to be. Again, it's no Godfather or Steel Magnolias. It's just a fun, carefree movie that good girl meets bad boy, they don't like each other, then they fall in love, then there's something tragic, but then they come together at the end and everything's happy. It's exactly that. And it's exactly that. And that's what makes it so good. And it's also fun just to see Sarah Jessica Parker and Helen Hunt, pretty young. Shannon Doherty is like a freaking baby in that movie. And you know what? I know for certain the actor that played Jeff Maline is not really a dancer. Maybe has a little bit of dance background, but in the movie you could tell that they made cuts. Jeff Maline does a triple pirouette and then drops to the floor, but you can really tell it's not him. I know that Jeff Maline did not do the triple pirouette. I could just tell. But I feel like Sarah Jessica Parker did all of her shit because they don't cut away from her much at all when she is dancing. But I never really Googled it because maybe I didn't want to ruin the fantasy. But let's see. Oh, she did have a dance double for some scenes. She trained extensively to perform the gymnastics herself. No way! Holly, who played Natalie, did all of her dancing as she is a professional dancer. Okay, I could tell that. Oh my gosh. It says Robert Downey Jr. was one of the party crashers who flips the table. I had no idea. It says here because Cyndi Lauper had not written the song Girls Just Want to Have Fun, she could not stop the use of it in this film, including the title, but she could and did refuse to allow her record to be used. So that's why they used a knockoff version. That's interesting. So there you have it. And there it is, our first rundown of movies I grew up with. Now, this one, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, as I've mentioned a couple of times, is the second greatest movie of all time. I do have the first greatest movie. There's actually a tie for the first greatest movie, but I'm going to keep those movies a secret from you because we will revisit those at a later date. If you're interested in me talking about more movies I grew up with, please let me know in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this discussion of Girls Just Want to Have Fun, let me know in the comments below too. I hope you guys liked it because I really loved telling you all about it. That said, if you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to ring that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the Real Life Friday videos I push out. Now, Real Life Friday videos, I've always said they're a grab bag, and this is a new grab bag situation. Movies I grew up with is not going to be an every Real Life Friday thing. First of all, I gotta know if you guys even enjoyed it. Do you want me to do more movies I grew up with? Because if you don't, I won't. But if you do, I totally will. But it'll be more along the lines of maybe like a once a month type of a thing. Because, you know, we still got other shit to do on Real Life Fridays. We got busy lives and there's a lot to do. We can't just be watching movies every other Friday. So know that if you do like it, we will be talking about the best movies ever on the planet. And then we'll dive into like, you know, just really great movies that I grew up with and maybe you grew up with too, but you didn't watch because maybe somebody told you it was dumb or, you know, you just weren't interested in it. I'm here to tell you, I am a movie connoisseur and all the movies I talk about are going to be amazing and you're going to want to watch them. So if you liked this series, please let me know in the comments below. Make sure you share this video with your family and friends. And as always, thanks for hanging out.